This one comes to us from click2houston.com. Now, a 23-year veteran Houston police sergeant accused of sexually assaulting a child has posted a $260,000 bond. Listen to this guy's name now. He's accused of sexually assaulting.
That former Sergeant Tung has been fired following charges of sexual assault of a child. KPRC2's Taisha Walker joins us live now in Hedwig Village, where he was arrested.
The sergeant for the Houston Police Department is facing 2 counts of aggravated assault of a child and 2 counts of indecency with a child. Now, Jana Oswald with the District Attorney's Office said child abuse cases in general are people that know the victims and the victim's family, and they gain the trust or that family, and they violate it. They violate the trust. Who wrote this? Especially the trust of a child.
Chris, the judge this morning had set bond in this case, read the charges for Tran, and also put in place an emergency protection order preventing him from getting anywhere near that juvenile victim and her family. We do want to warn you, the details you're about to hear are pretty graphic.
You are charged, Mr. Tran, with 4 felony offenses.
Recently fired Houston Police Sergeant Tung, who also goes by Charlie, is facing 2 counts of aggravated sexual assault of a child and 2 counts of indecency with a child. Tran went before a judge today where he learned of his charges and why prosecutors were against a low bond.
Court documents allege that Tung Tran is accused of sexually assaulting a teenage girl during a Christmas break in 2020. Physically molesting her during spring break. So, spring break and Christmas break. They allege Tung Tran brought the teen clothing and asked for her to try it on for him. Court documents allege Tung Tran was a friend of the victim's family and had gained their trust.
Court documents show the 50-year-old former officer is accused of sexually assaulting the teen girl in December of 2020 and physically molesting her last March. Hedwig police say Tran refused to talk to investigators when he was arrested yesterday. Houston Police Chief Troy Finner issued a statement saying in part, quote, "I am deeply troubled by the alleged actions of this 23-year veteran HPD employee who was immediately relieved of duty when the accusations were brought to our attention."
Now, Jana Oswald says this is especially egregious here because of his position in this community as a Houston Police Department officer. The family and child were aware of that, and the kind of power differential prevents a child from feeling they can outcry when it's already a difficult thing to outcry to sexual abuse in general. When you have that power differential, it especially aggravates the process. I think what she's trying to say is, or maybe I'm just having a hard time reading this morning. I need some coffee, some Java. But I think what she's trying to say is there's that, a child looks at him as a cop. He's a police officer. We're supposed to trust police officers. And then something like this happens, who do you cry to? So I think that's what she's trying to say here. But the Houston Police Chief Troy Finner issued a statement in part saying, "I am deeply troubled by the alleged actions of this 23-year veteran Houston Police Department employee who was immediately relieved of duty when the accusations were brought to our attention." According to the Houston PD, Tung Tran has been relieved of duty with pay, pending the outcome of his investigation.
I do have concerns for the safety of this complaining witness based on the grooming behavior that was described by both the complaining witness as well as her parents, based on the text messages that they were recovered from her phone, and based on the defendant's status in the community as a police officer. I don't believe that lower bonds are reasonable.
Tran's bond, a collective $260,000. The Hedwig Village Police Department says this past September, they were notified about a possible sexual assault involving a 13-year-old girl Tran knows.
The judge was very clear that he is to adhere to those bond conditions, one of which will be to wear a GPS monitor, and he will be under house arrest. Tung Tran better not get mouthy with the judge. He'll be in trouble. Anyway, I want to know what you guys think. Is another Houston cop? And I didn't even know the police chief was at this time, is Troy Finner. Anybody in Houston, Texas? How is Troy Finner? Is he better than Mr. Cuban Mafia over there?
Hedwig's police chief also issued a statement today saying in part that he does not believe that Tran used his status as a police officer to commit the crime.